Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Vertex Esports and welcome back to another round of the Vertex Stock Car Cup. We're here at the Charlotte Roval, my most anticipated round of the season for round 5, which is a night around the Roval by Lucky Wheels. We actually have our event sponsor Lucky Wheels on board this evening. We are very, very grateful for that, so thank you guys. They'll be with us for this round and for Homestead Miami as well. Someone who will also be with me for that is the elegant, the wonderful, the beautiful Chris Dawes. How are we doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Hello, sweet cheeks. How the devil are you?
Very, very good, thank you.
I think we're looking forward to this more than the drivers are, aren't they?
Pretty much,
this is a notoriously hard track for these guys, isn't it? Well, for these cars, more to the point, isn't it? They're not really designed for this. What are we talking? 17 turns. I mean, it's just brilliant. But I've got a memory of last series that we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, yes. This is one of the most daunting rounds of the entire championship by a long shot. And I think that's the evil part of me is really the one that gets most excited about it, to be fair. But it's just so hard to do. We've got, of course, reigning and championship leader Aaron Smith. Look at the lift on the curbs. It's massive round here. They're going to be using every inch of this circuit, but with cars that handle the way that these do, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get it right, isn't it, Chris? Because, like you say, they're used to 4 corners, really fast corners that turn left. These cars aren't known for their slow speed agility.
What? No, and they've got to accept that these things take a little bit longer to break, especially as some of these guys will have been doing the Daytona 24-hour. Or the Delaytona, as we call it, on the weekend, which was high grip cars, and now suddenly coming into these, they've got to get prepared to sort of throw the anchors. Oh, look at that! That's our championship leader, and he's like riding a bucking bronco around the infield section there. It just goes to show they've got to completely change the way that they're used to jumping on a sim. He's certainly having a whale of a time in the middle there, isn't he? I mean, crikey. I mean, this was something we saw actually last time, which reminded me, seeing how close he was there to the barrier. And occasionally, they get that slightly wrong. We saw a couple of them do that, and they just suddenly spank the barrier, and it just spits them off the other side.
Yeah, it does. It's very easy for it to go wrong around here. We're currently looking at Mikey Doble, who has got Lucky Wheels branding on his car, and I must say I got the pleasure of having that livery sent to me in sim with a wonderful replay file of him driving that car at Homestead at night. The other evening I was doing some screenshots and some footage for himself and Lucky Wheels, and my lord, what a wonderful looking car it is. The number 88 machine certainly is a belter. Another good looking car, of course, the Student Motorsport Toyota Camry of James Harvey. He's currently 7th at the moment. The boss man Sedgwick has just gone up to 5th, but Jason Glenn fastest at the moment. He may not be on circuit at this very second, but
well, he's just retaken that, hasn't he? Because we were watching Aaron Smith, and he jumped up to the top of the times until Jason Glenn took it back again with a whopping gap of 0.09. So it gives us a bit of an insight on how good this is going to be.
It really does. I'm very excited to see how we get on, and this is the sort of round, isn't it, in a championship like this, that really does throw up the unexpected results. It's some of the drivers have this specialty at going around here. Not to pick on anybody, but Adrian Burks, I know that he really struggled here last season, but he's fantastic on the ovals. But I know that he's probably going to have a similar struggle to last time. Kenny Mitchell, he's usually right up there as well, with the Cancer Research UK logo and the Racing for Luby hashtag on the car as well, which is great to see. Fantastic support. And people like Brian Crowles, Brian primarily races on road courses. He's very handy in a Porsche Cup car. He's in the virtual Bell Car E-Series as well. He does pretty well for himself in that with Track Velocity Racing. But that's the sort of stuff you need to know, and you sort of develop this patience to handle cars like this round a track like this, don't you?
Well, quite. And I mean, he was runner-up in Road America, came second in that race. So, of course, that was, a good old mixed bag rather than the Speedway or Oval. So, he's going to be hoping he's going to do well. He's sat 4th in his practice at the moment. And hi to David De Mea. He's back there cheering on his his number one driver as well at the moment. But yeah, Brian Krause, and I know he came into this sort of going, I'm going all out, guns blazing for this championship. And, you know, we did have a runaway, well, we do have a kind of runaway leader, Aaron Smith, but it didn't go well for him 2 weeks ago at Daytona, did it? He finished 14th. So suddenly, Mikey Doble in second in the championships, in there with the fight. What's he on? 163 points compared to 172. And then it's only 4 points further back for Brian Krause. So the top three in particular are incredibly close in this championship fight.
They are indeed, and it's what keeps this championship enticing. And again, it's another reason for us to always push to have events like this. You know, the fact that we get these rounds of the championship that can be so unknown for some of them. I love it because it's got massive championship implications. Justin Nair, who is currently, or was, in the pits before practice finished, he is the winner, of course, from the Daytona 125 last time out. And what an amazing job he did in that one. But now...
But I just got to say is that if anybody missed that one, you've got to go back and watch the footage of that race again.
Yeah.
The top six on the final stages was just mind-blowing coming to the end, wasn't it?
It really was. It was absolutely stunning. What we're going to do is go on board for a warm-up lap of Charlotte Roval with Mark Murphy. This right-hander is going to catch a lot of people out, especially getting on the power, screaming his way down to the double right. So this is a very difficult bit because you're on the brakes here as you're turning right. It goes over a crest. Try and hug the wall. Short shift a little bit maybe, although he's staying in second. The problem about this Roval for a lot of these guys is it's got a lot of oscillation to it. It dips down, goes over crests. That's what these cars are very sensitive to. Up on the banking, back on the power again. Use the height of the banking to gain a bit of momentum as you come back down it. Hug the blue line on the inside. Let yourself fade out to the right and then get hard on the brakes for the bus stop chicane. It was, of course, a lot faster in previous times, but it's been closed up quite a lot. Plenty of curb. Now watch the wall on the left. Get on the power. You can cut the blue line a little bit there. Now all the way around the banking again. But this is the scariest bit of the circuit, though, isn't it, Chris? You thought that first chicane was bad. This is absolutely terrifying.
It really is. Hence that starting and restarts is that those cones there, they're going to go straight on there because this just caused too many issues when we're trying to get, the pack going for a start. But absolutely, I mean, I don't know how they do it. Throwing the anchors out the back for that full stop just looks phenomenal when you're full pelt round that final banking. It's not what these cars are built for, is it?
No, definitely not. They're not made for quick changes of direction and high
braking.
Well, yeah, that's very true. They're made to go left and do it very, very fast, mainly flat out. Here's Justin Nair, who's still showing up as the number 12 car, obviously, as they do. But he is number 77 in the league. And, of course, our Daytona winner from last time out. I'm intrigued to see the spread in lap times that these guys give us, because we know that it is going to be very, very close indeed, even round a track as long as this. Mark Redford in Turn 4 Motorsport, racing in the My Turn Racing Sunday Night Truck Series as well. Mark got me on board to commentate that, and he's just gone back to the top of the championship after a race at Texas where he had a very strong result and his championship rivals faltered. But he says that these things are a very different kettle of fish to drive in comparison to the trucks, and to be fair, I can believe him without giving it a go myself.
Is that as in the trucks that I think the first time you and I commentated together was on the trucks on the dirt, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, those exact trucks. Yes, that range of Ford F-150s, Chevy Silverados, and I believe the Toyota as well. The name evades me for now, but yeah, they're actually quite entertaining to watch, to be fair, because they've got no rear end weight. I mean, it's not like these things have either, but because of the length of the trucks as well, they're a lot longer than these NASCAR Xfinity cars. They've just got no weight at all over the rear end. They are so loose because obviously the whole cabin, all of the downforce, all of the natural aero is just at the front of the vehicle, and the rest of it's just a brick following behind. They are so loose everywhere. It makes for some very entertaining viewing, I can tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Glenn goes to the top now. Interesting to see that the boss, Alex Sedgwick, he's not going to have done a time that he'd be hoping for there, is he really, to be honest with you? Sat there in third, .381. Is that a new livery he's got again?
I think it may be, yes. It's very pretty indeed. I am getting... Trading Paints is still updating at the moment, so that may be a reason for the drop in frames, everybody. So I do apologise if there is still an issue with that, but it is updating the liveries bit by bit. My fickle internet strikes again. Adrian's actually done alright there, 1.1 seconds off, which isn't too bad considering. He's in 5th place at the moment in the number 72 Toyota Camry. And considering what I said before, I should probably eat my own words here, Chris, because that's not bad at all, really.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've still got a couple of big hitters. There we go. Right to the top of the times goes Aaron Smith, and right on cue, as I was about to say, is that, you know, was he going to do it? And that's interesting for me because we jumped on in practice and he looked on like beyond the ragged edge, didn't he? And yet he got himself up to the top of the times. Momentarily, Jason Glenn managed to pinch it back. Well, this time he's nearly a quarter of a second up on Jason Glenn. That's big. It was 0.09 in practice, so he's done an incredible job to put himself at the top of the times. Ivan Bauman's didn't actually post a time there, I see, in 14th.
Yeah, I think maybe a little graze of the wall, maybe just cutting the track slightly. All of those things can take your time away. But Aaron Smith then takes pole position, as expected. Jason Glenn alongside him. We saw that him and Brian, and we know that Alex and Mikey as well, they're very, very strong on road courses. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, all within a shout as well. I'm intrigued to see how Adrian Burks gets on too, from 6th on the grid. James Harvey starts 7th, with Justin Nair in 8th place. Behind them, we have Marcel Freinzehner and Kenny Mitchell rounding out your top 10. Then we have Mark Murphy in Turn 4 Motorsport with James Montgomery in 12th position. And then behind them at the back is Mark Redford and Ivan Bauman's, as Chris mentioned there. No time from him. But we'll get a look in at the grid as we're just waiting for Alex Cedric and Adrian Burks to take to the grid. But look at that there, the field all lined up. I love that it does it properly here on iRacing. You know, all the cars get lined up together and then they all filter round a lap and get cracking. It's just awesome to see. Really do love it. As you can see, some of the final liveries are being downloaded now. There should only be 1 or 2 more that will suddenly change. We'll have a look and see. Alex Cedric is in that sort of dark red livery. It looks very classy on that Toyota Camry.
And, what burgundy, isn't he? He's gone all burgundy and sophisticated on us.
Indeed. Every time I hear burgundy, I just think of Bo Selector. Dafka Demare saying, why not a time for Bauman's? He could have potentially got... What in iRacing, you get something called an incident point. So you get these points over the course of a race. You get 4 for contact, anything between 0 and 2 for losing control of a car. But basically, if you get 0, it counts you having an incident point. So if you get any of these 0s or 1s for going off track, for example, it invalidates your lap time. It has to be a clean lap in qualifying. And when you don't get one that is clean, then your lap does not count. So it must have just been a graze of the wall or just going slightly outside of track limits for Ivan Bauman's over the course of his... I think they only get 2 or 3 laps around here. So, unfortunately, he didn't clock a clean one. But, as we have our field now filtering round, the blimp is very zoomed in, it seems, at Charlotte Roval. I was hoping we'd get a nice shot of the whole field there, but clearly not. We get the chopper cam. If we look a bit further back, we'll get some more of them in shot. Mikey Doble on the outside there. That Lucky Wheels car, that doesn't half look great, does it?
That's a wonderful mix of colours there, and certainly made sure they're going to stick out with the... almost the infamous number 88 on the side there as well for Mikey Doble.
Indeed, and a custom font as well on that. It matches the Lucky Wheels font, so a very fitting custom number. Certainly works well with livery, and we hope that he does the guys at Lucky Wheels proud this evening. I'm intrigued to see what Jason Glenn does, because as we saw at Road America, Chris, that guy can make tyres last for 3 to 5 working days, can't he?
Yeah, absolutely, and this is the part where they're going to go through the cones ready to take this start, and it means that they're going to arrive down into turn 1, which is quite a sharp left-hander, quicker than they're used to, because they're going to be coming we're at the back end, aren't we? That was the first. See, I'm getting all excited thinking we were further down the lap than we actually were there, but in a minute it will be, any second now. They'll go through the bus stop here. 2019 was the first time they used the full deep. It used to just sort of be sort of the left-hand side of the straight, really, wasn't it, before that, 2018 backwards. But yeah, now it is a proper bus stop chicane. Now they're going round the banking, starting to pick up the speed a little bit, and in theory they should throw the anchors out the back for the sort of bend towards the left, carrying on, and then the right-left, tight right-left of the turns 16 and 17. But they're not going to do that. They're going to carry straight on. I don't know whether we'll see anything, but in theory they'll get slowdown penalties given for that, but it will disappear after lap 1, won't it? Apparently?
Yes, yeah, we've been told they're going to get cleared. Right then, let's see how this goes then. We'll see who's been at the driver's briefing and who hasn't. The cones get hit away in a comical fashion, but round 5 of the Vertex Stock Car Cup is underway, and look at that from Jason Glenn. Great start to stay alongside Aaron Smith. Is everybody going to keep it tidy in turn 1? Well, a little bit partridge then, but no, we actually sort it out, and Jason Glenn has gone to the very front. He's gone past. Aaron Smith has run wide, maybe a chink in the armour for the reigning champion. Brian Crowles goes through as well. Love it from Jason Glenn.
Yeah, you could see that Aaron Smith was going in a little bit hot into that first corner. We said it was going to be a challenge, and he had to do something because he was under so much pressure from Jason Glenn. And Brian Crowles is all over the back of him, which means you've got to say that Aaron Smith has done well to collect not just the car, but his thoughts as well as quickly as that, to keep Brian Crowles behind him that was just all over him like a rash there with everybody else following him. But this is enabling Jason Glenn in that 55 car to momentarily, and it is already disappearing, I was about to say scamper away at the front, but already Aaron Smith is eating into that and has shaken off the attention of Brian Crowles for now as well.
Yeah, indeed. It looked like Brian had got ahead out of turns 1 and 2, and then Aaron must have snatched it back on the way into 3. I want to just see him do that again. Here's a quick replay. So, yeah, it looks like Brian's gone in really deep on the inside, 3 wide round turn 2. I'm surprised they made that work, to be fair. Still side by side all the way around. And look at that, yeah, Aaron just holds the inside line, makes it work. Beautiful stuff from the reigning champion. Sedgwick still 5th, James Harvey up to 6th. But Jason Glenn, your current race leader then, doing a wonderful, wonderful job on that start. It just looked like Aaron, he spun up the rears a little bit. The car went slightly sideways, only the tiniest bit, but that's all it takes, isn't it, Chris, to lose that vital momentum?
Absolutely, and I mean, you've got such an array of corners, different types of corners, that it's going to ebb and flow throughout the entirety of this race. There's someone I was picking up on, that bright pink car with the blue flashes, number 14, Monty, James Montgomery. He's made up 3 places, up into 9th place, and of course he's another one that did well on the last road circuit, Road America. Yeah. He actually finished 5th in that one, so he seems to prefer these kind of circuits. Not that he necessarily showed it on his qualifying run, but I don't think we should discount that number 14 car.
No, definitely not. He's certainly got the pace. Fantastic to ride on board here. The sun glinting in the eyes through the windscreen. Oh, that was Ray Schumacher hacking and down the straight at Spa. That was there. Moving over a little bit just in Naya, but it's all fair in love, in love and war, whatever the phrase is. I've got it somewhere stored in the back of my head. Kenny Mitchell and Mark Murphy have just swapped around. It looks like Mark Murphy's had the better of him through the chicane. Mark Redford is going to get in on this as well now, surely. Kenny's going to be sick of being in a Mark sandwich. But, oh, look at that. Redford braking a little bit later, starting to close up, but just ahead, as you said, Chris, Montgomery and Naya both putting the pressure on Adrian Burks now.
Yeah, and you think that Adrian Burks was one that you said that could do quite well on this road circuit. But, I mean, it's 32 laps. I mean, these guys are going to be exhausted by the end of this. Oh, and it's a big, wide movement there. Goodness me, that was crazy. That was Justin Naya, the winner from the last race out, but just four-wheel slid it towards the wall, just kept it out, collected his thoughts back up again, and already you see he's managed to change it back again, that he's the one that's all over the back of the car in front of him. That, of course, being Adrian Burks in that white and red number 72.
Just seen a comment in the chat. Lisa joining us once again. Great to see you back in the comments section. Dan Thomas said, do you reckon Jason can hold on for 32 laps, Lisa? She's just in all full support. Absolutely not. Love it. Absolutely love it. Honesty, though. That's what you want. Honesty is the best policy. Wow.
Look at how they, just quickly picking up there, do you see how that ebbed and flowed there? It suddenly looked like Mikey Doble in the Lucky Wheels car, the bright number 88, was all over the back of Brian Crowles. But as they got back on the power again to go back round the banking, suddenly Brian Crowles, as he just leaps over those running curbing, that's just incredible, is that he was able to pull away, and he's just done it a little bit more there from Mikey Double. I just wonder whether Mikey's just bouncing a bit too much, and it's leaving him struggling to get the noise pedal back down again as they exit onto the very fast banking, whereas Brian Krause looks a bit steadier going into those chicanes. Oh, and there's a big love and kiss and a cuddle there as the number 14 Monty moves up to 8th. I said watch out for him. But yeah, interesting. I reckon that Brian Krause going in slower to those chicanes, not bouncing off the curb so much. Doble's going in very quick and it's working, but they're not able to get the power down as much on the exit.
Yeah, I agree totally. It just seems like, you know, Mikey obviously racing in real life maybe has that patience and that throttle control, but everything gets changed up when you're in cars like this. Jason Glenn still holding on here on lap 4 with Aaron Smith right behind him for second position. Brian Krause and Mikey Doble getting the chance to close up, of course, through there. They get so close to that wall. It's scary, don't they? It really does take your breath away.
I think there's some yellow and black paint left on that wall there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. There's nearly some white and green to go with it there. Mark Redford's got a bit of damage on the left-hand side of that car, actually. I'm wondering whether he has hit something. It's looking like, let's have a look. Marcel Franzeni got past him very recently. I think we are going to see Mark hit the wall here. Is he going to just push his luck? He is. Oh,
oi, oi, oi. Have it.
Marcel says thank you very much, mate. Number 44, hashtag blessed, going past down the inside. But Jason's holding on well here from Aaron, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing how long he tries to make these tyres last, in all honesty.
Yeah, quite. And we don't really have stats, do we, to know what we're expecting from these cars in terms of tyres and fuel and everything else. So we're not sure what the state of play is going to be. And I can't remember from last season. I don't know whether you can. We've all slept since then, and had a few drinks. But Aaron Smith's trying something different, isn't he? He's certainly done the high line to then just come charging down from the top down to the bottom. It hasn't quite worked there. So Jason Glenn's still holding him off. And as probably our mutual hero Murray Walker says, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, and that's the issue that Aaron Smith's got. But he is basically trying different lines every which way, isn't he? Fryensen has done well, hasn't he? There, closing in as quickly as that. He only just got past Redford a lap or two ago.
Yeah, indeed. The gaps around here can fluctuate so much. It's why I love it. Although it'll fluctuate a lot if you do that, Marcel. Really lights up the rears, gets very sideways indeed, and loses quite a bit of momentum. But the closest cars on track are still our top pairing, and then they've got the other three hanging in right behind them. I did think in my head there was, I'm sure I've heard a phrase for the move that James Montgomery pulled on Justin Nye before, and another wonderful commentator known in the touring car world, Charlie Cox, would have called it a Braille pass back in the day. One of my favourite phrases. But I think Jason's going to make this last, but at this stage, oof, that was nice and sideways indeed. You've got to think, as Aaron kisses the wall, you've got to think, is Aaron just saving his tyres a little bit here and just working on it, or is he pushing?
To me, this looks very un-Aaron Smith-like in the fact that he's having to really buzz around like an annoying hornet, which makes the colours even more appropriate right now. Just buzzing all over the back of the 55 car of Glenn. Just trying to find a way. You just keep watching. He's trying different lines. He's trying to do something different. And I guess, you've got to do that. What they say, the first sign of insanity is keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Well, he's not therefore going to just sit there and do exactly the same as what Jason Glenn's doing. He's going to keep trying something different. Not always going to work, but he only needs it to work once so he can dive up through and just bouncing over the curbs there as they come back round the into turn number 1. So on the are they on the 7th lap now, aren't they? It's not 7 completed. They are on lap 7.
Yeah.
And, he's still trying to do it. And it's Noah's Ark 2x2 because look at that. Brian Krause now got Mikey Doble, the 88 Lucky Wheels car, all over the back of him yet again. And it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to watch those two as they come into the bus stop, because that's where I think there's just a slight difference between the methods that they're using into those tight braking zones.
Yeah, getting this car on the power and getting down a straight quickly is one thing, but getting it stopped and turned in is another. Now, Brian Krause very sideways there on the way onto the banking. That was a real tank slapper. Fantastic save. Can't have helped him with top-end speed down here, but wow. What a moment that was. Mikey Doble starting to close in just behind as well. This whole top four, they've got this real accordion effect going on at the moment. But this is epic again. Cedric's just waiting in the wings. He's probably too used to the ARCA cars at this rate, but I don't know how different they'll be in terms of underneath performance. Either way, I know he's very, very pleased to be back out racing with these guys. He certainly has enjoyed this championship every single time we've been to an event. But again, here's another one that's fluctuating further down here, Chris, because Freinzehner, he's looking hungry for this move. 44 on number 4.
Yeah, absolutely, he really is. And like I say, it wasn't that long ago that he was just getting himself up past Redford in 31. Redford's not going to be happy because he's been at the pointy end a few times, hasn't he? Certainly Iowa, he finished runner-up, he was second, so he's going to be hoping he can move up. Oh, and in fact, has he just made a little mistake there because he's been passed by Bauman's, the 268 car, and in fact, that looks to me like that damage is making things a little bit harder for him now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he skipped around. I think he skipped the chicane there. He came back on quite well, robustly, let's say. But look at this top 4, that's epic stuff. We'll go on board with Mikey Doble. He's got the best view in the house. You can see all of them there. He's having a right wiggle on the exit onto the banking, so close to the wall. Somehow doesn't make contact with it. Further down, actually, there has been a change between Kenny Mitchell and Mark Murphy. I think Mark had a bit of an issue on the way into there. Now Freinzehner is going to try and take advantage of this. 2x2 onto the banking. Oh, running wide is Kenny. Mark keeps it tucked in, but it's a bit slow. Kenny's around the outside. Marcel wants a piece of this. This will be lively into the chicane, won't it, Chris? Place your bets now.
Oh, my word, it really is going to be a fair play to a 58 car of Murphy there. He's really dragged this one out, hasn't he? And Bauman's getting involved in it, and it's about to become a 4-car fight. Oh, and Kenny tried something different, but it sent him shallow across through that chicane, and he's not going to have the power down on the exit. Here comes the 44 Freinzehner car. But fair play, Kenny Mitchell just managed damage limitation there. He was forced into a situation that meant he was not going to be taking the optimum line through that chicane. Darned if you do, darned if you don't. But he had to have a crack at Murphy. And now he's just sort of getting himself back into the zone, isn't he, for the racing lines again. And it's status quo, as you were.
Yeah, nice stuff there. Mark Murphy did a mega job, like you say. Krauls is now coming under pressure from Mikey Doble, but this means that the top 2 will be able to break away if they continue fighting like this. And of course, Cedric will close up from behind. Now look at that, Doble's gone in deep. Cedric goes through down the inside. We've got Justin Nair off the circuit. Number 12, what has happened to Justin? We'll have a quick look at this and then come back to the battle at the front. But Cedric has, I can tell you, kept it ahead of Mikey Doble in 4th. Oh, it looks like Justin's gone a little bit too hot there. He's going to clip the grass and the car's just going to go, oh, look at that. It's just painful to see when they get onto the gravel. But Cedric has held on there. It was a nice little bit of opportunism by Alex. It may have spread them out again, but at the end of the day, he needed to get it done ASAP as they go back into the final chicane. Look at Aaron Smith all over Jason Glenn. But David Van Glebeek in the YouTube chat as well. Shame not to see you out there, David, but we hope you're well, of course. He believes that Smith is also saving his tyres while doing this. You know, he's got the pace to be able to just push it past Jason when he needs it, but he may as well just make the tyres last for now and just follow on and just match him. He doesn't need to exceed it at the moment.
He just seems to be doing too much behind there to be he's not just staying there. He is having a go. I mean, I get the point, definitely, but he just looks too busy to be fully saving those tyres. He is trying to make the move. He's trying to pressurise Jason Glenn into a mistake. Now, it could be that he may not be putting as much heat through that as the 55 car. But I don't know, you just look at it, he's trying everything he can, getting on the power at different times, and he's then four-wheel drifting it up towards the wall on the outside of the banking. I don't know, it's interesting. I don't think he's going to be having them in pristine condition come the end compared, and Mark Murphy's gone off the track somewhere as well just then, I noticed.
Yeah, he's just, it's through the right-hander as well. A real pain. Horrible corner to try and do in these cars as well, because you turn in and it tightens and you're on the brakes and you're trying to keep the car stable, and if you overshoot it by the tiniest of margins on the way in, then you can say goodbye to corner entry and say hello to tyre barrier. Freinzehner still pressuring Kenny Mitchell, the two of them still joined at the hip. Toyota and Chevrolet, with Bauman's just behind in the Mustang. Bauman's had a lot of pace there, but look, that's how it harms you. Very close to the wall on the exit as well. Now at the front they are once again the closest two cars on track. Aaron Smith still trying anything he can to get through. he's going to love it when Jason's out of the way, but I think if Jason pits first, it's going to harm him because, well, I think it's going to harm him anyway. As soon as Aaron Smith gets clear track, if Aaron pits first, gets fresher tyres for an extra lap over what Jason's going to have, I think we may see him jump in here, but you never know. Jason's doing a mega job holding on, and how cool is that? When you come out of there through that left-hander, there's only a tiny little concrete wall, a little Armco barrier between you and the cars coming out of turn 1. It's a mega bit of road.
That was looked like another kiss of the wall there, didn't it, though, by Aaron Smith? And he just not getting it all his own way, not just in terms of position, but in terms of out there on circuit in general, is he? He's having to fight hard. Bearing in mind, the reason we say that is that he's, as we know, every time we've interviewed him, he's the most laid-back character I think either of us have ever come across.
Oh, aye.
And he's not looking like he's able to be as cool, calm, and collected. Alex Sedgwick's come into the pits.
Early stop for Alex. Maybe just trying to get a bit of clear air, get some fresh rubber on, and go early. Very interesting indeed. I'm intrigued to see how he makes the tyres last over the rest of the race, but we'll see. We've got Burks and Magenta Montgomery right together as they come towards the line on the power. Certainly does stand out, does James Montgomery's car. Marcel Freinzehner also coming in the pits, so some of them feeling that now is the time. We may even see 2 stops over the course of this race, as that was very sideways from Montgomery. I know that Ben Kriener, he pitted very late last time we were here. I can't remember whether he did pit twice, though, but I wouldn't put that out of the question, you know, with not even half of the race gone yet. I think some of them, for the pace advantage, they will just put the fresh rubber on and just crack on with it, you know, twice.
Well, you know, if they it probably is one of those ones that if you imagine, I'm just sort of almost picturing in my mind the forces they're putting through these cars through just one lap.
Yeah.
If your tyres are cream crackered, it is not going to feel pretty, is it, at all? Whereas, you know, you think of someone gone into the wall background there. Was that Bauman's? Oh, that's a big hit, isn't it, in the background?
A prime example of what you were just mentioning there was Alex just driving around the outside of Kenny Mitchell like he wasn't even there.
Well, quite. You know, it's going to make a big old difference. You know, Road America, you could get away with it because it flows a bit more, whereas this is, you know, a bit more point and squirt at times, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. But look at this. Kenny, you know, hanging on the inside, giving him the room, but Alex can just get on the power a lot more confidently with that fresh rubber and just glide around him. Adrian Burke's now into the pit lane, so he's the next one to blink and come in. Justin Naya goes through there in the number 12, chucks it over the curb. I love that. It's so comical. When we did the first championship race meeting at Zolder, I think it was last season actually, season 2, it was just so much fun watching the cars fling it over the curbs because the suspension is so soft. When the front corner goes in the air, the wheel hangs down so far, it makes them look like a monster truck. The wheel just drops. It's a good 6 to 8 inches off the arch clearance. It's fantastic, the amount of distance you get.
And I'm assuming that Krause has made a small mistake somewhere, because remember that the boss, Sedgwick, had actually got ahead of Mikey Doble, and the two of them were back from Brian Krause a bit. Well, all of a sudden, we know obviously Alex Sedgwick has pitted, but not only has Doble's jumped up a place there, he's now back to all over the rear of that 48 car again. Yeah,
it looks like Krause was 0.4 of a second slower last time round, and Doble is one of these drivers where if you are starting to make mistakes, he can pick up on it. He's like a shark, you know, he smells blood and he's just on it. So it seems at the moment like he's just reining Brian in that little bit at a time. Pretty much identical lap times last time round to the nearest 100th of a second. So very close indeed. Doble's still a little bit slower last time. It was a 124.32 for Krause, 124.39 for Doble.
Nothing between friends, that is it?
No, exactly. And to be fair, I mean, the two at the front, Jason Glenn and Aaron Smith, they're half a second a lap faster than that. And Jason Glenn was actually quicker last time round as well. He's got a bit of damage on the right hand side from giving the wall a kiss. Look at that there. The other car's going the other way. I love that. Absolutely love that. But Sedgwick, you know, he's making his way back up now. If we look at the pit stops on the left, he's ahead of Naya, Murphy, Bowmans and Redford, who all have not pitted yet. So he's certainly gained a really good advantage by that. Not obviously just from the pit stop, but of course the pace he was putting in a little bit earlier certainly has helped him. But you're right, Chris, this is definitely closed up now, and it's looking like it's swinging the favour of Mikey Doble.
Although it just suddenly see he's gone... that's struggling now, isn't it, though? You know, famous last words there almost, wasn't it? Is he went in deep, and I don't know whether that was just frustration lit them up as he tried to get out of it again, but that just almost looked like it was crabbing on ice, didn't it?
Yeah, he really pushed that a bit too hard there. It's easy to get exuberant on the loud pedal, as we all know. I'm sure we've all been there. But these cars, honestly, I gave it a test drive around Road America before we raced there, and I mean, I don't know how these boys do it at Road America, never mind a circuit like this, but the car it behaves differently every single time you go around a corner. You never get 2 laps where it does the same thing. They are so unpredictable, it's unreal. But look at that there, Crowles runs wide, Doble gets a run. Is he surely not looking around the outside? But the racer in Mikey Doble says never say die. Close again, down the inside he looks, but doesn't get the overlap. Mark Murphy into the pit lane, as you see on the left hand side of your screen. But the cars just look like they're floating around this circuit at the minute. They're just on the limit of adhesion with these tyres, aren't they?
Yeah, it does. They're ice skating around it, aren't they, basically, at the moment? It does not look easy for these guys, but it goes to show the amazing control that they have over their cars. I mean, we've seen Aaron Smith do some amazing drifting celebratory after the checkered flag, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
They're almost having to do that in the race now.
Yeah, they're just hanging onto the rear end, letting the front do all the work. It's got close again between Jason Glenn and Aaron Smith, but Aaron, he is just braking that bit early, just compensating for being behind another car. It's clever racing from Aaron, and this is what we always see. Like you say, he's very laid back. He's always got his head screwed on properly, and that applies to his racing as well, not just his overall character in interviews. You can see his hands soaring at the wheel. It's really helpful to have white gloves. You can actually see them in the cockpit properly going for it.
Oh, Doble's pitted.
He has, yeah. Mikey Doble, he decides that he's probably thinking, right, I need to try and get an undercut on Crowles. But where is well, that's how much time Alex has gained. Look at that. Doble is still sat in the pit lane, and he will be for another few seconds. Cedric is off and up the road. So that undercut has definitely worked. Now, you've got to think that's going to work, maybe not to the same extent, but surely that's going to work for Mikey Doble on Brian Crowles as well.
Yeah, to the point where you'd think, well, surely Crowles is going to come in this next lap, and then there's not enough time. Whereas Alex, of course, Cedric out in the number 9 car, has had a good few laps to make that count. And my goodness, he really has, hasn't he? He's got to be doing a 2-lap because he's clearly decided this is a throwaway set of boots, because he's just beasted them to make up that, and it's working. Now, is it going to be enough to leapfrog the front 2? Who knows? But at the moment, you see he's not got quite the same level of advantage. He has got past Monty there in the 14 car, but it's tough, isn't it?
Oh,
we
Aaron,
had the change of lead.
Yeah, Aaron, I think, pretty much got round Jason Glenn. Jason slowed early to go into the pits, I think, and Aaron's just gone, nah, don't worry about that, mate. You don't want to be braking there. You want to be braking here. There you go. Look, Jason slows it down. Aaron thinks, no, I'm not having any of that. I'm going to pit as well, but watch. I'll drive round you. Brake later, get a faster entry. Mega stuff. Brian Crowles is coming as well. But Alex Cedric last time, oh, that looked like Jason overstepping his mark.
Yeah. Oh,
now,
no, that's a nightmare.
I was going to say, last time round, Cedric did a 1:22.3. That was a 24.9, but obviously he overtook Montgomery at the same time. But he is flung into the lead. He is gone.
Wow. That's intriguing, isn't it? Wow. I mean, it was a very early pit stop, wasn't it? But
that's what I'm worried about now for Alex, because don't forget, he pitted on lap 9. We're now he's done about the same amount on those tyres again. Some of these guys might try and make them last till the end if they've pitted just over the or at the halfway mark, pretty much. I'm intrigued to see what they work of this. But yeah, Alex was about 2.5 to 4 seconds on certain laps faster than the leaders when I was looking at it. Montgomery there, entering some initial D state. Wow. Oh, as Aaron kisses the wall in avoidance. So this is the thing, though. It's so difficult to adjust, isn't it, when you're fighting against another car?
Absolutely. I nearly forgot I was supposed to be commentating then, because I was just enjoying watching this, because, I mean, that's interesting, because Aaron Smith is on the fresh rubber, and Monty's decided to go a little bit longer. I can't believe he's going to be that long in reality, because he's past the halfway mark now, and, if they're one stopping, but he's clearly going to try something, a roll of the dice, although it looks like he's edging towards the pits now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there we go. In he comes. But I was about to say is he's going to try and do it that his rubber's that little bit fresher at the end.
Yeah, it's nice to have that, but at the same time, I think while the field is more compressed during the pit stop period, or when people are sort of slower or they're deciding that it's the end of their tyre life, you can't leave it too long after that. You need to just go with the flow, do what they're doing, be a bit of a sheep and just follow on, because I'm sure that all of these guys would rather be the one that goes first and gets the undercut than go last and get overcut. Well, or get undercut, let's say, because of pitting too late. So Bowman's and Montgomery both in the pits. Jason Glenn and Mikey Doble we see here are right together. There's only 1.5 seconds between your race leader, Alex Sedgwick, and Aaron Smith. The two of them have been proper dancing partners before, as Chris and I have had the joy of watching. But I think we're going to see Alex not let Aaron go through, but I think Aaron is going to catch up to the back of him. I mean, he's gained 3/10 just on that banking alone from the extra traction he got on the way up there. But I think you're right, Chris. He's going to do this as a two-stopper, and he's going to use those tyres to the very best right at the end.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I would imagine, therefore, we're probably going to see about another, I don't know, he's going to see if he can try and get another 4 laps out of these ones, I'd have thought, and go with a 10-lap dash at the end, something like that, which, you know, he's now, I don't think he's going to let him go at all. He needs to try and keep Aaron behind him. Tough luck that it's going to slow Aaron Smith down. That's exactly what Cedric wants to happen. Now we've got this this famous thing of one thing to catch, another to pass, and we've seen it's not that easy for them to do, in the fact that he was keeping Jason Glenn behind him. Jason, the 55 car, is up into 3rd place now, by the way, with Mikey Doble 88 in the Lucky Wheels car. Obviously Lucky Wheels sponsoring the races now as well. Thank you to those guys. And that car is all over the back of Jason Glenn, so intriguing stuff. But oh, look at this, Aaron Smith is now trying. He's going to go around the outside. Is he going to be able to do it? Well, I thought that Cedric was just going to run him a little bit wider there, but he's just kept himself on that faster line and getting the power applied. Switcheroo, here he comes.
Yeah, Aaron went and focused on his own line into that left-hander there, got it hooked up, got a really nice exit. He's going to be on the inside for the first part of the chicane, but Alex is going to be on the inside for the second part. Nicely played by Cedric, but is it going to work? Because Aaron, again, is going to carry the speed, get the traction down, skims the wall, and through he goes. It's a good thing they don't have wing mirrors, because it would have fallen off there. I think they do have a tiny wing mirror, but even so, that just about missed the wall. But now, you know, I'm thinking here, looking at everyone's pit lane times, their overall time in the pit lane is about 43 to 48 seconds. I think if Alex is going to pit again, he's going to have a mountain to climb to get back, because Mark Murphy in 13th is only 34. Actually, no, apologies. You'd be 9th if he pitted now. He'd be just in front of Justin Naya or around there, dependent on his pit stop. So to claw all that back at 2 seconds a lap, 3 seconds a lap, I don't think he can do it. I think he's just tried to get an undercut and make these tyres last the whole race, and I don't think it's worked. But we'll have to see, I suppose. There's still 12 laps left.
I mean, it'd be interesting is that if that is the case, even if he's sort of uncertain, yeah, look at those tyres. Those tyres are dying on him. The two of them just whipped past him. He's got to make it a two-stop strategy now, surely, and it will make it interesting in the closing stages. The problem is that with 12 laps still left to go, surely it's too early for him to come in at the moment. He needs to make these things last at least another 2 tours of this Charlotte Roval circuit, without question, and he's just fighting them as much as he possibly can, and we know that he's got the skill to do that. So it does sort of show you that the tyres are screaming no more, aren't they?
Indeed, it's pretty mad how they can manage the tyres. And if I'm honest, I just don't know how they do it. I really, really don't do it. It's just a hell of a talent, a real talent. But at the end of the day, that's why we enjoy this championship so much. It really gets close between all of these guys. And I know that some of them are just, they have this ability to just read situations. And I have no clue on earth how they manage to adjust to that and do it in these cars. Because, like we said before, they're not agile. They can't change around that quickly. It's just bonkers. It really is. And we've got such a quality field here, and I wouldn't ask for anything more with this championship. It's been a lot of fun already.
Yeah, but look how the fact that Cedric is now holding him back very well here. We thought that Doble was going to be able to get past him fairly straightforward. He's still there just chomping at the bit. And But fair play, he's just making that a very, very wide Vertex liveried NASCAR, isn't he? Stock car. But Doval's going to try. And what are we at now? Probably going to have at least another lap. If I'm intrigued. I love this chess element of it. Is that my mind says that was Sedgwick going to go for that 2-stop, and he's going to be considerably faster than these guys at the end. So. But the fact that he's behind them, you just think, well, surely he's not going to be able to make up that much time. I think it was an interesting roll of the dice for me, though.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the thing in these races. You never know. You don't often get a race simulation. These guys do get that, but they get a practice race. But you don't always get everybody playing their cards. Some people like Alex, they'll play it very, very smart. In the practice race, he'll just see what people do on tyres, and he'll see, is there a gap in the market for me to slip a strategy in there? Could I try something to outdo these boys? I think before he realised that he was getting stuck in traffic and it wasn't helping him and he wanted clear air, but then again he was that quick that he had to start overtaking people again, so it went one way then the other. It looked like he was going to fly away. He got a massive lead, but by the time he came back on, his tyres were done. Mikey Doble slithers it up the inside. I tell you what, he has got lucky wheels on that car at the minute, because that seemed like a beautiful little punch. Had a wriggle. Alex would have probably died laughing at the sight of that car all over the place. Like you said before, Chris, it's like a dog on lino, isn't it? It's just, it's wriggling about all over the place but can't get anywhere. It's fantastic, but Mikey Doble makes it stick.
A fair play, and I was thinking the whole time we were on board there, what brilliant driving by the pair of them. I mean, they were just so close to each other through multiple corners, and I don't think there was even any paint being traded. If there was, it was just the tiniest amount, and that was just some fabulous respect from the pair of them there.
Beautiful to see. We always do enjoy it. And that's the thing. I mean, these guys, a lot of them, they've been... as he hangs them back out. They've been racing together now for a handful of seasons over lots of different circuits. It's almost like different disciplines, isn't it? Road racing in these cars is different to anything else. Oval racing is fantastic. These machines are proper thoroughbred oval racing machines. These guys have done it all, and done it all with each other. All of the aspects of the different races we get. So there's so much trust between them, but in doing that, they sort of bring touring car racing to NASCAR Xfinity machinery. I absolutely adore it. And speaking of adoring it, it's my mate Brian Crowell's in 5th at the moment, and now he sees an opportunity in getting past Alex, but I just don't see Alex pitting now. I think he's just going to accept it and crack on to the end.
Yeah, you sort of think now he'd have to make up an awful lot of time with the amount of time that he'd lose going into the pits. It just hasn't worked out according to plan. And I mean, I'm waiting for this lap to end because, of course, last time he was having that great fight with Mikey Doble, to see the lap time difference, because the lead two are down in the mid to low 122s, whereas it's 25 and 24 for Doble and Sedgwick. But they were embroiled in their own battle, so as soon as they cross the line again, we'll get a better idea. Final chicane they go through now, back on the power again as they exit onto the start-finish straight. Across they go. What do we get lap time-wise? 23, and Sedgwick's lost the place to Brian Krause there, and Sedgwick ran through at a 24 that time compared to the low 23s for Doble and Krause. So Sedgwick's car is screaming foul.
And a 22.6 for Jason Glenn, so a great lap from him. Really good stuff. And
has brought that lead down, hasn't it? Quite significantly. You can just see the yellow and black car just ahead of him there. That looks a lot closer, doesn't it?
Yeah, 0.8 of a second he gained on Aaron Smith last time. So either Aaron had a mistake or Jason just really hooked it up and made it work. Fingers crossed he can do more of that. Jason has been a star on these road courses, to be honest. He's been a star of this championship. He started, and when he first came into the championship, he was always sort of mid to bottom table, but he's just had this sort of revelation in his pace, and he's been fantastic. Really has for track velocity racing.
Yeah, he came third in Road America, but just to show he's a jack of all kind of person, as he was runner-up in Daytona as well. So he is being able to master all that's thrown at him, even the grass there, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I got very scared for a moment there, because one of these on the grass, 2 wheels on the grass on the brakes, no thank you. I think it might be Astro along a bit of that strip there, but yeah, that would have scared anybody. We've got Justin Nyer on the back of Marcel Freinzehner, who's just trying to hold on as well. At least Marcel's car tells you which way up it should be, or at least well, it confuses him on the back, but just onto the oval now, which is obviously where he's comfy, as we found out last time. Into the chicane. Ryan Zayner gives him the room. Nice, good stuff. And nice and composed from Naya as well, because no matter if the driver on the outside gives you the space or not, it's easy to lose your head when you go through a corner like that. Now, Alex Cedric's next target, or next attacker, is going to be Adrian Burks, but he's 26 seconds back now, so maybe Alex saw this gap developing and thought he's got a bit of a safe top 5. You never know. These drivers are clever.
Well, that's why I'm kind of there scratching my head thinking there's got to be a top trump card ready to be played somewhere at the moment. But sometimes they just get bored, these guys. They're like, teens during lockdown, aren't they? They're going to go, I'm going to go somewhat different just for the hell of it, for giggles. But you just never know. But fair play, the car we're on at the moment, James Montgomery, JJ Racing car, the lovely sort of pink number 14, made up 5 places from where he started, so he's done incredibly well there, and he's all over the back of Adrian Burks. He started 6th and is running 6th, and he's got his heart set on that.
Kenny Mitchell's getting some new boots, which is an interesting
now
one.
That'll be interesting to watch, won't it, to see what he's going to do with the cars around him.
Yeah, he's going to be a while down. He's going to be like half a minute down on Mark Redford, though, when he comes out of the pit lane. So I'm not sure how that's going to work for him, but maybe just having that stability and the safety of the fresh rubber at the end of the race, it can do a lot to your confidence in these cars. But Adrian Burks
Well, look how much quicker, look how much quicker Cedric was when he came out of the pits and everybody else was still going.
Yeah, indeed.
We saw how much of an impact it will have.
Yeah, for sure. It'll certainly help him out. We just saw these two going the other way. Mikey Doble getting caught by Brian Crowles here. Brian did a 23.91 last time. Doble did a 23.94, so that may not have been so different. But on this current lap, Brian has taken about 0.2 of a second out of him already, and the gap has come under a second now, which highlights it to us. It starts going yellow. I'll show you here on the left-hand side. That's what it does on the timing screen. It may not be the easiest to read against the white background there, but when it goes under half a second, it starts to go orange. And then when it's over that, and it's less than a second, it goes yellow. So we can see what the smaller gaps are. And Mikey Doble and Brian Crowles are certainly the 2 closest cars together on track at the minute. Mikey didn't quite get the chicane as right as he wanted, but Crowles, maybe crying after losing a bit more time. That time around, it's now over a second. So it is Montgomery and Burks that are still close together. Still nothing from Cedric. I think, to be fair, Chris, he has probably he's just sort of put his cards on the table and just said, right, I'm all in now. That's it. I'm just gonna coast and get my top 5.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest and say I'd be sort of tempted there, going, "Oh, do you know what? I've started, so I'll finish, and I'll throw it in for some fresh boots." But I was going to say it all depends how it's handling. I mean, he's lapping down in the 25s compared to the 23s of the guys ahead of him. So that car is just wallowing on ice, isn't it, at the moment? And so I just wonder whether he's going to go, let's see. If he is, he's got to do it now to sort of, give himself time to maybe do something about it. We're waiting to see what Kenny's going to be able to do once he's got his beast up to speed again on the fresh boots. But I don't know. It's he hasn't managed to get there just yet. He's still sort of at the outlap speed at the minute. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, he's not really closing in that quickly at the moment. Is Kenny Mitchell. He was 32 seconds off Mark Redford. He was 33. Now it's down to 32. So he's only gained a lap. Gained a second in the last lap or so, if that. So it's not really worked out for him that much at the moment. It is still close though between Doble and Crowles now. It's under half a second, and Montgomery and Burks are actually side by side here. So let's see who's going to get this. Now, around the outside, Montgomery is then going to be on the inside for the chicane. Onto the brakes a little bit later than Burks. Now, what's Adrian going to do here? Is he going to try and line up a good exit? Looks like it, but sideways stuff from Montgomery. Lovely control. And to be fair, good respect from Burks, because no matter what, he still held back. He didn't force the issue there. He didn't push too hard to try and get through. He just knew that there's no point. He's like, right, you're going to make an issue for yourself there, mate. So let's be sensible about this. Someone that might not be so sensible about this, Mikey Doble is going to have to defend hard from Brian Crowles. That's not me saying Mikey's not sensible. Of course he is. But look at that. Send from Crowles. Nice and late on the brakes. Mikey says, not on your life. Bounces over both the curbs. They both run deep. Brian's going to still be on the inside. Oh, that's commitment. Both of them sideways there. They just about avoid contact somehow. But wow, great stuff there. Fantastic close racing and not a touch of paint off either car. That's the beauty, isn't it, Chris?
It is, and to be fair, that's the second time we've seen from Mikey Doble to have such respectful racing there. Mighty impressed. And yeah, Brian Crowell's adding to that, so that it is great to see when we know how close it is, and certain quarters of sim racing have bad reputations for how the driving goes. These guys genuinely well, look at that. Crowell's now lighting up the rear as he tries to go through there. What are we now? We're 4 laps away from the end. And Doble may have been passed, but he's not dropping away, is he?
No, he's certainly not giving up the ghost here. Chasing back up. Look at that, closing on the brakes. Just a little bit of tyre screech there as it sort of locked up and gradually floated wide. Now, in terms of their pit stop laps, Doble pitted only 1 lap earlier than Brian Crowell. So if there is a cliff on these tyres, it is only 1 lap that makes the difference, really going up through the revs there. Mikey Doble wringing the neck of this Chevrolet. It's Chevrolets and Fords only in the top 4 at the minute. Cedric the first Toyota, followed by 3 more. Montgomery, Burks and Harvey. And Justin Nair in a Ford, and Marcel Freinzehner another Toyota in the top 10. But yeah, Mikey, he's pushing hard here. Oh, Jason's had an issue, I think. Oh no, he's just gone that far over the Astro that he clipped the grass a little bit. Don't forget the little message at the bottom, which, knowing me, is probably going to disappear any second. You can use discount code DOBLE88 to get 25% off all Lucky Wheels tickets. If you do, go and check out luckywheels.co.uk. It's a fantastic competition website where you can basically pay for a ticket around the price of, say, a bottle of Coke, and you could win some absolutely wonderful stuff. People have won all sorts, from full-blown Mercedes. Actually, no, somebody won an Audi RS3, Nardo Grey RS3. You've won Mercedes C-Class coupes. It's phenomenal, the amount of stuff. There's even, I think it was like a lads barbecue section where you can win a barbecue in an arcade machine as well, which is absolutely mega. Mikey Doble looks like he's trying to play an arcade game at the moment, though. That car is everywhere, isn't it? It's all over the place.
Yeah, he's just lost some ground there. Yeah, it's not handling as he wants to now, is it? I mean, that just suddenly looks like an almighty handful, and you can see how much ground he's lost on Crowell's just in those last 2 corners.
Yeah, he's hanging the back end out. He's certainly enjoying himself, but yeah, it's not the pace that you want. But these two are now nearly 10 seconds off the back of Jason Glenn. He's flying, and he's only 1.7 seconds behind Aaron Smith, so even if Aaron has jumped him in the pits here and outdone him to go and win this race with only 2 full laps to go, hats off to Jason, because another phenomenal drive, as he touches the wall, another phenomenal drive here on a road course. It's great to see.
Genuinely it is, because even when he just sort of drops a little bit away, he's able to bring that gap back down again. In fairness, Aaron's probably mirror watching a little bit as well, so he's got that under control. The 2 of them have been brilliant at the front there, as is the second pairing of Crowell and Doble have just really dished up something special there. Alex Sedgwick in 5th. I'd imagine he's going to be sort of like feeling a bit meh about that. It's the only way I can explain it. He's not done bad, but he's probably, by his own standards, not where he would like to be.
No, indeed, and his is another car that's a bit all over the place. If we look at it here, on the way in, you'll just see so much opposite lock going on. Just little touches of it.
He'll have done loads of laps on those tyres, won't he?
Oh yeah, this is, what, lap... My maths is terrible. Lap 22. He pitted on lap 9. So he's going to have done 23 laps by the time this race is done, and those tyres will be absolutely shot to death. He's lucky he's still got 27 seconds over Montgomery, so he's still actually eking out a tiny gap over Montgomery. He is quicker than the cars behind him, so he doesn't have to worry about losing that top 5 unless he makes a major mistake. As Jason Glenn, again, testing track limits. It keeps coming up to me saying that he's off track, but yeah, it's just because he's running that far off the Astro on the left-hand side. He's brought that gap down to 1.2 seconds. He took half a second out of... Oh, he's taken half a second out of himself there. But he took plenty of time out of Aaron Smith on that last lap, who is now on the last lap, Chris. A wonderful drive once again from Aaron. He's not going to get a 100% record this season, obviously thanks to Justin Nair, but he's going to use this race to try and get closer to that.
He is, but I mean, just look at the way that that he's driving the lap now compared to when he was buzzing all over the back of Jason Glenn. Now he's where he just loves to be, and he just makes it look effortless, doesn't he, really? But it goes to show it's not like he can only lead from the front. He was all over the back of Jason Glenn in those early stages, just constantly hounding him, which is why you've also got to congratulate Jason Glenn for doing such a good job in that stage of not giving in to the pressure and making that little mistake that Smith was hoping he would make. And it took the difference down to the pit stop, didn't it?
It certainly did. But as he comes out the chicane for the final time, Aaron Smith only has a handful more corners to go before he is going to take, I believe, his 4th race win of the season in Season 3 of the Vertex Stock Car Cup. And a night around the Roval by Lucky Wheels is won by Aaron Smith. What a beautiful performance once again. Jason Glenn, 2nd place. He'll be very chuffed with that. Well done, Sunshine. Amazing performance all the way through to the end, keeping the pressure on. Brian Crowles makes it 2 Track Velocity racing cars on the podium for the 2nd race in a row. Mikey Doble with the Lucky Wheels branding in the Doble Motorcycles Chevrolet crosses the line 4th. Sedgwick ends up 5th, only 6 seconds back. Great stuff from Alex, to be fair, to nurse those tyres there. Definitely for the skip after this one. And then nearly half a minute back. Still opened up that gap, did Alex. James Montgomery. But again, Chris started 12th. Great recovery from him. That was awesome.
It was someone that I was keeping an eye out because of the fact that he'd shown on Road America that he likes the road circuits, having finished that race in 5th. Not quite as high this time, but yeah, to make up from 12th to 6th place. Fair play, Monty. I could see that one coming.
The Drifteroos are absolutely on it. Alex Sedgwick will be doing some, but Aaron Smith will also be lighting it up. We'll keep an eye on Aaron as he has his, I would say slow down lap, but he's flat out at the moment. But I'm sure that we're going to see some nice drifty poos in here. Let's have a look. He's hooking it up for a bit of a ready for the exit. Oi, nice little slide there. Maybe not as much as we've expected to see before. Jason Glenn causing mayhem as he does. Brian's lighting it up as well, doing a couple of burnouts. He's got the revs up high. Jason's decided to take a different viewpoint of the circuit again. Now, how long?
Looks like he spanked the wall on that side as well.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to keep this up, but it's not easy to reverse these things, I tell you. I wouldn't want to. Oh, he tries a J turn. Yeah, no, not bad, or a Jace turn as he would call it. Not a bad one, that. Not a bad one at all. But we'll give it a little check of the standings then. Well, of course, the race results. Aaron Smith, your race winner once again. 2 seconds to the good ahead of Jason Glenn. Brian Crowles, again, 2 Track Velocity racing cars on the podium. Well done, boys. Smashing. 3rd place goes to Brian Crowles then. Mikey Doble in 4th with Alex Sedgwick in 5th after trying the strategy, but unfortunately it didn't pay off. James Montgomery, brilliant drive from 12th on the grid to finish 6th, with Adrian Burks in 7th. James Harvey ended up in 8th. We didn't really see much of James in that race, in all fairness. I'm sorry, Student Motorsport, but your guy didn't get much TV time there. He's just very much under the radar. I think that's probably the most under the radar performance I've ever seen, because I don't remember looking at him in the entire race, sorry. Justin Nair ended up 9th, with Marcel Freinziner rounding out the top 10. He was followed by Mark Redford, another under-the-radar performance, Kenny Mitchell, Ivan Bowmans and Mark Murphy, who didn't finish the race, actually 15 laps down. They'll be hoping for better next time out. But it's our favourite part of the evening again, and we do have some wonderful, wonderful candidates for some interviews. We'll go for 3 interviews this evening, but of course we have to start with the man that ended up winning another race this season. A fantastic performance. Aaron Smith. Aaron, you had it a bit tough early on chasing down Jason, but once you got ahead, it didn't seem like he was going to go away either. Did you think that it was going to be an easy drive tonight, or did that not really surprise you that Jason was quick?
Oh, I knew he was going to be quick from the moment we went into practice and he put down the fastest time. But yeah, there was never a point in this race where I was certain that I would win. But I knew if I got a better pit stop than him, it would certainly make my chances better. Unfortunately, it did.
Yeah, it certainly looked like that was going to be the main changing point anyway. But I mean, these cars, Chris and I were saying about how lively they looked as well. I mean, Chris obviously noted that in your chase of Jason early on, it seemed like you were really pushing to try and get through there. Did it seem a bit more difficult than planned to have Jason in front?
Absolutely. I mean, the car was pretty hard to turn at some point. Sometimes the front end would dig in and it would get tight, and sometimes the back end would just slip out from under me. But made for some pretty good racing there at the front. It was certainly a handful.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a lot of fun, and I mean, we know how well you can control these things anyway. We've seen your drift in cool-down laps anyway. But in all fairness, you know, Jason kept you honest at the end there. It seemed like it could have gone both ways, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. He was reeled me in there in the last couple laps. We had about 3 or 4 laps after the race. He probably would have gotten to me. It was pretty frightening watching him come up closer and closer in the mirror.
Well, another one for the record books then. Obviously, I think your 4th win this season. Only one that you haven't won now, with Justin Nyer taking the win at Daytona. Do you have the momentum now to go on and win all of them?
I'd like to. I mean, nothing's for certain. It's only gotten harder over the course of the season to win comfortably. So this race was a little bit too interesting for my taste, but those are the best ones.
Well, it certainly looked like a lot of fun, mate. Like I say, it was a really, really good laugh tonight, and well done again. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the folks at Vertex for putting the show on, and everyone in the field for not running into me in the first corner, because that was pretty scary in itself, seeing the wall come up like that. I was certain I was going to run into it and end my race. But yeah, I'd like to thank y'all for broadcasting as well, and everyone for watching. We'll see y'all next week, or whenever we're at next.
I wish it was every week, Aaron. It's so exciting. But well done again, mate, and we'll see you next time.
Alrighty, thank you.
Cheers. I just love it. I couldn't go around at this championship without interviewing with Aaron. He's fantastic, isn't he? We'll drag the boss man in so we can laugh at him. Alex, that strategy, it looked very intriguing. We thought you were going to go for a 2-stopper there. What was the idea?
I mean, I tried. I did my best.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, it's obviously such a hard place to overtake. So obviously being, I think I was 5th before everyone started stopping it, I may as well try it. So, you know, I tried to stop as early as possible. Obviously had to take a bit more fuel, everything like that. But the hope was that, you know, I'd have enough of a gap by the time those guys pitted that it would be right at the very end that they caught me, and then they may not have enough time to get past. But I kind of underestimated how bad my tyres would be by the time they got to me, and B, I kind of got caught up in a little bit of traffic at times, so obviously I didn't manage to make the most of those new tyres. But yeah, I mean, I could have probably done with a bit more practice this week anyway. Aaron, Brian, Jason, Mikey were all, you know, pretty quick, and I was happy to be able to sit and chill and stay behind them at the start, and I was happy with pace wise. But obviously it's just so hard to make an overtake around this track that had to try something, and ended up right where I started from. So at least we tried. We gave it a good go.
Yeah, that was it. Chris and I were wondering whether you were going to 2-stop it, weren't we, mate? It was certainly an intriguing one to watch.
Absolutely, it was a fun race. It's the first time in forever I've done a road race on iRacing, obviously being away for a few of the rounds this season. So good to get back into it and have a nice clean race. I thought we were all gonna write our cars off at turn 1 when Aaron fired it in a little bit too quick, but
he said the same.
Made it through. And after that, it was pretty good racing, pretty fun, even if it was fairly chaos free.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, I mean, it must have been. I think my driver briefing at Daytona obviously calmed all the boys down, and you know, since then they've just learned from it, obviously. But no, I'm joking. But either way, mate, you know, it was still exciting to watch. It was still a very entertaining race. You know, even with the reduced grid, it seemed like the perfect grid size for this sort of event. You know, the track wasn't chocker. It wasn't sort of overlapping with lap traffic everywhere. It was just the right concoction tonight. And it certainly did look a lot of fun. But before we let you go, of course, is there anybody you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, you guys as ever doing a great job with the stream. Everyone competing, everyone, you know, obviously we missed quite a few guys today, but we're looking forward to having them back for the next race. And yeah, everyone who watches, competes, supports, obviously Lucky Wheels for becoming the presenting sponsor of this round and the next round, and yeah, everyone that supports the series.
Nicely said, Alex. Great to see you again, mate, and well done, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Now, someone that I really want to interview, and really, really want to interview, is the man that could have just about won that race if it hadn't been for the car looking like it was behaving like a pig at the end. Jason Glenn, you like these road courses, mate. It's easy to say that, isn't it?
Yes, it went quite well, didn't it? I think the first corner was a bit of a squeaky bum moment, right enough. I wasn't not sure where everybody was, but it went all right. I think I screwed up the pit stop, though. That's what annoyed me. I think I went into or committed too early, and Aaron got the jump on us, and then I overshot the pit box. So but it was still good fun, though.
Yeah, I mean, even Aaron said at the end, it was scary that you were closing back in again. And to be fair, Chris, we thought he was going to do it, didn't we?
We did, because I mean, you know, fair play, Jace, is that you're under so much pressure from Aaron Smith, but nothing he did would force you to put a foot wrong, and I thought you were going to take that into the end and do the reverse, basically.
It would have been lovely to do it, but I wasn't sure when at the end if I was catching him through pace or just him making wee mistakes. But then it's so easy to get kind of drawn into that with these cars, especially when the tyres are at that age, and try and push too much, and then you end up just going backwards as well. So I think, I can't remember, it took about half a second off from the last 12 laps, which doesn't sound that much, but he was just eking towards us. It was like, okay. But it's one thing to catch somebody around here, it's a completely different thing to overtake.
I think me and Chris said that collectively about 4 or 5 times, didn't we, mate, over the course of the broadcast? But it's very true, Jason, it's a difficult circuit to race on. You certainly made the most of it, and of course, another strong result. Of course, next time around we go to Homestead. Now, that's back where this entire championship started way back when. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah. Oh, we'll need to probably put plenty of laps in. Ovals are not my strong point, but I think this is the first time I've actually done quite well in terms of looking after tyres. But looking after tyres on an oval is a completely different box of frogs. So we'll look forward to it. 2 more weeks. But it's been good. It was a good race. It seemed to be there was a lot of kind of dicing going on with everybody. So,
yeah.
And the times are all quite close as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to Homestead. Tonight was a mega race as well, so the championship is very much in full swing. Before we let you go though, Jason, and obviously before we see you next time out, do you want to give a quick shout out to anybody? Yeah,
shout out to you guys for, again, doing the stream. I know there's a lot of people that watch it that enjoy it, and Alex for running the series. I think, obviously, my dad, I know he watches, my mate Chris and his 2 boys, Cole and Owen, who I believe going to try and draw me a wee colour scheme to race in one of the final 2 races for a bit of fun.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So we'll see what happens. And I think my sister was watching, and Lisa as well, so just all them. And thanks again for doing the stream, boys, because it's
ask them to have a bit more confidence in you, by the way.
I was going to say, yeah, you might.
You're kidding on.
You might want to look back through the stream comments a bit later on that one, Jason. But we'll leave that one with you, mate. But we'll see you at Homestead.
Right, I can see some strong words being thrown at some people, but we'll put that one aside.
Love it,
Not
mate.
one to stir her out.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Hang on, let me just put the ladle back in the drawer. Right, we'll see you next time round, Jason.
I'm gonna go and find my mobile. Right, cheers, boys.
See you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, mega stuff indeed. Always a lot of fun, and of course, another gentleman that's always having a good laugh out on track. And of course, we need to speak to Mr. Doable this evening, because that livery, mate, that looks stunning out there. How did you find tonight?
Well, it's a shame I can't see it from where I'm sitting, but I'm sure it looked very nice for you guys watching. I've got to say a big thanks to Stefan McCready, fellow Vertex Stock Car Cup racer, for designing that livery for me. I think it's gone down well with everyone who's seen it, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So yeah, big thanks to him, and of course, well, it's not the shout out shit, I'm sure there's questions. But
well, first off, just tyre management was obviously the aim of the game this evening, but while still managing the traffic as well, it didn't seem like an easy race to get right lap after lap. Was it one that felt very difficult to you, or did you just get into a rhythm?
I enjoyed the first half of the race before the pit stop a hell of a lot more than the second. I mean, it felt like everyone was in a bit of a rhythm, and and I think Aaron may have been slightly quicker than Jason, but where them two were battling a little bit, they were overcooking their tyres a bit, so their extra pace they had over us was kind of cancelled out by a bit of extra tyre wear, so it kept us close. But then once I come out the pits after my pit stop, and then me and Jason caught up Alex, I couldn't follow him through on the outside, and then it took me 2 or 3 laps to get by him, and that extra 2 or 3 laps of being off the racing line, trying to find a way past him, you know, getting on the power early and all that, it just kills your tyres. And then I was just a sitting duck from there on when Brian caught me up, you know.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look easy, mate.
And one of the other things I thought I picked up on, Mike, is in the early stages when you and Brian were having your great back and forth fight, is that Brian seemed to go a lot slower into the chicanes and therefore missed the curbs a little bit more, whereas you were taking the speed in, closed right on him, but sort of we watched you sort of up on 2 wheels to the extreme, not able to get the noise pedal down quite as much, and then suddenly you sort of settled it down a little bit more. Was there a change in tactics through the tight sections during that?
I think we probably went all in all through the chicanes even. I mean, if I gained 2 tenths on the way in, I might have lost 2 tenths on the way out. But my style around here seems to be carrying a lot of speed into the corners, into the chicanes, under braking. And I think if I didn't have a car in front of me, I probably wouldn't have to have backed off so much mid-corner, because I was actually having to slow down extra to keep from running in the back of Brian, whereas if he wasn't there, I would have carried the speed through the chicane and probably got a better run out. But it's just different. It's such a hard track to overtake, when you're trying to do it cleanly, because the cars are quite wide for a very tight track like this, and there's not really, apart from the oval section, it's single file for a lot of the infield unless someone makes a mistake. So if you force the issue, then you heat the tyres, and B, you lose the guys in front. So I didn't want to lose touch with the leaders while battling Brian.
And picking up on your comment about cleanly, I have to compliment you, and I did it live on air as well, is that first of all, when you were trying to get past Alex, and then with Brian, the two of you going side by side and what have you, the racing was so clean between you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have to take my hat off to the guys I was racing around, and they complimented me as well. We all had a really good race at the front, and it just makes sim racing a hell of a lot more respectable when you've got real world drivers and real world race fans watching it, and they see drivers racing, hammer and tong, but racing with precision and professionalism. It really adds to the racing, I think. So it's good to keep it clean rather than make it look like a bit of a mess.
It was good, really impressive.
Yeah, mega racing tonight, Mikey. Pleasure as always, and of course, thank you for bringing Lucky Wheels on, of course, with your own Lucky Wheels livery to sponsor the next few rounds. I was having a look at their website earlier today. It seems like a mega place to go, because there's some right good stuff up for grabs.
Yeah, they've got a live draw on, I believe, the 11th of February, which is the day after our following round. So they've got they got a nice motorbike on there. They got a Golf GTI and a few electronic consoles and devices on there. So if you head over to the website, there's a discount code to celebrate sponsoring me and Vertex for the next couple of rounds, which is Doble 88, which is very relevant, as you know. So that will give 25% off of all ticket purchases between now and the next draw. So big thanks to Lucky Wheels, and I really hope that they've enjoyed so far being a part of the series, and look forward to the next race.
I've just shown a couple of the screenshots that I did as well of the car on the stream, just so they can get a better look at it when it's not stuttering a little bit as the frame rate has, as we discussed in the week. But yeah, mate, that was a great race. Obviously doing the sponsor proud, plenty of airtime for it as well. But Homestead next time round, where it all started, it's hard to know what to expect there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is it's probably my favourite oval to race on, Homestead. I think last season it was the last race of last year, and I think that was the kind of turning point for me in my driving in the NASCAR. I mean, I think I got 3rd place there, and I just think that the penny dropped at Homestead last time. I've always ran good round there in public races as well, so I'm really looking forward to Homestead. I think I've got a better chance round there to maybe even take the win as I did, better than I did here. That's for sure.
Well, I really do look forward to it, mate. And before we let you go tonight, do you want to give any quick final thanks to anybody?
Yeah, as always, shout out to my mum and dad watching downstairs on the telly, and my younger brothers, both my grandparents, they're staying at home, all my friends that are out there watching me or not watching me if they're still on listening to me rabble on. And once again, Lucky Wheels for sponsoring me and being a part of the series. Look forward to the next one.
Smashing, nicely said, Mikey. Well, great to speak to you again, buddy, and we'll see you at Homestead.
Cheers, guys. Good broadcast as always.
Thank you. Cheers, buddy. Well, Chris, another evening has passed us by incredibly quickly, and another race win for Aaron Smith, while the others seem to not be able to manage the situation as well. What did you make of that overall?
Well, I mean, what can you do to stop this guy? We probably should have probably asked him what happened at Daytona, because that was uncharacteristic for him to finish 14th, wasn't it? But you know, it just shows is that he just is able to keep his patience till the end. Very different from him this time, to be buzzing around from the get-go quite so early. And of course that mistake into turn one, we thought we spotted that he'd gone in very hot, and he scared the bejesus out of himself by the sounds of it. So a couple of things that weren't typical Aaron Smith, and yet they still couldn't beat him. I mean, the guy's just incredible, to be honest. Really impressed with the driving standards and with the quality, the fighting from Jason Glenn to hold him off and to try and come back at him. Mikey Doble, Brian Krause in particular, those two going at each other like a pair of prize fighters. It was just wonderful entertainment throughout, wasn't it? And, you know, and again, a big shout out to James Montgomery to sort of get himself up into 6th place as well. Really impressive all round.
Yeah, indeed. It was a very, very tasty and clean evening as well. Like you say, the driving standards were phenomenal once again from the Vertex Stock Car Cup. But that, unfortunately, is all we have time for this evening. Thank you very much again, Chris. Absolute pleasure as ever. Really look forward to each and every round we work together on. Thank you to the guys at Vertex for, of course, putting the series on. Alex Sedgwick and Adam Owen doing a cracking job, and all the drivers that we have tonight, and of course Lucky Wheels, the sponsor of not just this round but the next one as well at Homestead. Speaking of, we will see you of course in 2 weeks time. Have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we will see you there. Good night.